Taoiseach, whilst I recognise that the European Council has yet to reach agreement on the specifics of the rollout of the COVID-19 crisis response, it is no less than an injustice to Ireland that the EU has failed to recognise the potential severity of the challenge that Ireland finds facing itself. Taking a moment to recognise the human cost of the COVID-19 crisis right across Europe and here at home in this state where over 1,700 of our citizens have perished, I want also to bring attention to the fact that this is not the only serious challenge, the consequences of which this island has been forced to address. Ireland has had to contend with a trifecta of major challenges, unprecedented once in a generation trials, from the banking crisis to the impending challenge of Brexit and, of course, COVID-19. Under the current EU recovery proposals, Ireland is due to receive just €3 billion of the €750 billion fund, or 0.0143%. This is due to the mechanism being deployed by the European Commission to calculate disbursements, and this is simply unacceptable. The mechanism does not accurately reflect the impact of the virus on the Irish economy. This state has seen the fourth highest reported cases of COVID-19 per 100,000 of population in the EU, EEA and indeed the UK. And it is incumbent upon this government to demand recognition not only of this fact, but also of the fact of the enormous human suffering that has been wrought upon the people of this country as it has been forced to claw its way back from the chasm of economic despair over the last decade. 4 years on from the folly of Brexit, we are in the midst of the countdown to the final denouement of a drama that has transfixed Europe. How this will impact upon us as an island is yet to be fully determined. What we do know is that it will require the kind of response which we associate with a nationally coordinated plan of action. If only there was no other unprecedented once-in-a-generation events to which we must also direct the nation's efforts. As we are faced with the challenge of formulating a recovery strategy from the COVID-19 virus, we must take cognizance of the impact of the devastation wrought by this government's austerity-driven response to the last virus visited upon us, and that, of course, being the virus of greed. Never again should the ordinary people of this island, workers and indeed families, be forced to shoulder the burden of austerity. Globally and here at home, restrictions brought about by the lockdown have allowed many the time to reorder what we believe to be important to us in life. Perhaps too, the government might take a moment to review its instinctive response to crisis and maybe take this opportunity to pivot away from the failed politics of austerity. The regressive measures that have punished the ordinary people of this country whilst rewarding banking fat cats, vulture funds and speculators who have fed off the misery of others must be left in the past, Taoiseach. We must look to the future, offering confidence and compassion. The government must assume the role of protector of the citizenry of this state. Our response must be one of investment in people, infrastructure and indeed business. As IBEC warns that thousands of businesses face bankruptcy within 6 months without drastic intervention, we must develop an immediate mechanism to protect business leaseholders who are being asked to single-handedly take the hit for rents owed over the period of the lockdown. Elsewhere in Europe, in France for example, the emphasis is on sharing the burden between government, business and landlords. We must do everything that we can to protect SMEs and otherwise thriving businesses which are faced with potential closure due to no fault of their own. The burden of recovery must be shouldered fairly. After all, Taoiseach, as you yourself have previously stated, we are all in this together.
Thank you, Deputy Brady.